Okay, here's the first garden update in quite a while. Today is June the 27th, and it's been a long time, as I said, since I've done a garden update. So I'm going to take you around today and you can have a look at how things are doing after Winter Armageddon of 2014. So here's my rhododendron that I've had for a few years, and it flowered nicely, no damage on it. A couple more additions here, some Pyrrhus japonica and a couple more rhodos to give it this corner a nice green look. And I have some bamboo in the back, which I transplanted from the back part last year. So here are the windmill palms, and didn't receive too much damage this winter, especially this one here. This one put out some nice big flowers for the first time, and finally now the petioles are starting to come up a lot higher than they used to. So they used to just come pretty low before opening, and now they're starting to come up, which is good. And my other two windmills, this one was new last year, had a little more damage, and again it was mold. So I corrected that problem back in January, and hopefully don't have this same problem this winter as I'm learning from my mistakes. Here's the needle palm, which is about to flower, pretty much on schedule. It's got this new leaf coming up, and sable minor, which is coming back from the ground. The heat source failed inside both of these, so I really don't know how much of the winter these actually had no heat, so they are more damaged than usual. Here's the cactus patch, which will bloom any day now. Lots of blooms on that, and I don't do anything to this cactus, it just stays here, and it's got lots of new pads coming up. The Magnolia virginianas received, this one really didn't receive any damage whatsoever, and it's flowering nicely. But this one over here, as you see, I've cut down parts of it. It did receive damage. Part of the tree is okay, but to the right here you can see that I've had to cut some down. It is starting to leaf from older wood, so I'm hoping after a few more weeks it'll start looking better, and we are starting to now get into like really humid type weather, starting actually today. So everything is looking pretty lush back here. Considering the winter we had, I really didn't lose much, which is good. Here's a nice Yucca glauca I've cut to kind of give it more of a trunky look. Here's the leatherleaf mahonia that is getting quite a bit bigger and doing well. This leatherleaf viburnum was planted last year, and it's almost tripled in size. Came out of the winter with no damage, no stem dieback, and I love the giant leaves on these. So it's kind of good actually having this last winter, because it really did prove and showed what can truly grow here and what truly cannot grow here. So things that made it through this winter, I feel pretty good about that we'll continue to be able to grow in future winters. Unless we had, I'd say, a number of really, really bad winters like the ones we had in a row, then things could get a little scary. But so lots of broadleaf evergreens. There's my little Salt Spring Island Trachycarpus fortuna in there that just gets a rose cone with some leaves stuffed in it. No damage this winter whatsoever. More rhododendrons, lots of bamboo canes. Nothing new yet. I might be picking up a few new things next week to add to the garden. Here's a moonglow magnolia, and it's blooming and didn't really receive much damage. A couple of branches died on it. Here's some more viburnum down here that made it through the winter, just being planted last year. Hollies look good. American holly looks fantastic. No damage, just all the leaves fell off, but now you can see the new leaves are on, but no stem dieback. Here's my big leaf magnolia macrophylla. 2 feet at the top I had to cut off because it died, but you can see it coming back here, and it'll probably regain its size from last year, I'm thinking. A little unfortunate. Here's the big leaf bamboo. All of the old canes browned out, but you can see all the new canes coming back. The thing that suffered the most this winter was the southern magnolias. So you can see this is just twigs, and if you look closely down here, you can see it's shooting basically from the base. I'm going to leave it another 2 weeks and see if the top part is growing. It is green, but if it's not growing at that point, I'm going to hack it down just to the ground and let it come back. I've thought about removing it, but I've had it for so long that I'd like to give it a chance to come back. and even if it only comes up a couple of feet, I will protect it this winter with straw. So then give it a couple more years and maybe it'll get back to the same size. This is some nice flowering Daphne I replaced. I did lose the 3 hollies that were back here. So I had an Oakland holly here, and Nellie Stevens there, which has now been replaced by an American holly, which seemed completely hardy here. So this has replaced that. This one did have some damage from the person I got it from. His name is Simon. He lives in Kingston too. So a couple of the top feet had to be cut off, and he overwinters it outside in a pot. So very hardy. Here's a new Musha Baju. Hopefully that'll get to a 6 foot by 8 feet by the end of the summer. This magnolia, Edith Bogue, I've had it for 3 or probably 4 years, and it died back to just around the snow line, but you can see it all coming back. So it'll probably get up to a few feet again, and then it kind of dies back every year. Another Daphne here. This one's semi-evergreen as the other one in the corner. Japanese umbrella pine here, like maybe an inch of dieback, but it is coming back in most spots, so fairly hardy. This is the Japanese holly, which died back to the snow line. It was planted last year, so it's coming back. We'll see how that does longer term. Hydrangeas, no flower buds on these ones yet. So that's pretty much the backyard update. I'll take you around to the front now and you can see what's happening there. So really the biggest highlights are major southern magnolia damage. Pretty much everything else okay, minus the hollies that I had to rip out. They were actually rated 6, zone 6 hollies, and we've just come from a 5B winter, so just 5B. We got in by like 0.3 degrees, but it was the duration of cold that killed them. If I would have had them a couple years ago, they may have made it through the winter, not too sure.